Captain Marcus Zhang stood at the helm of the HMS Sovereign, humanity's first quantum-fold vessel, watching as the impossible became reality. The stars stretched like threads of light before snapping back into focus, revealing an entirely different section of space than where they'd started. The bridge crew held their breath, their months of training culminating in this historic moment. Quantum Fold successful, Captain, reported Lieutenant Kenzo Tanaka from the navigation station, his usually steady voice trembling slightly with excitement. All systems nominal. Marcus nodded, his weathered face reflecting both relief and tension. At 45, he'd spent most of his life preparing for this moment, humanity's first successful faster-than-light journey. The Sovereign represented the pinnacle of human achievement, a vessel that could bend space itself through quantum manipulation. Full sensor sweep, he ordered. Let's see where we've landed. The response came faster than anyone expected. Captain, called out Lieutenant Regina Patel, her dark eyes widening at her sensor display. Multiple artificial structures detected. I'm reading. Thousands of spacecraft. The massive viewscreen shifted, showing a sprawling expanse of space filled with gleaming structures and vessels of clearly alien design. The Sovereign had emerged in the middle of what appeared to be a major interstellar transit hub. Warning klaxons suddenly blared through the bridge. Unknown energy signatures approaching, announced Chief Tactical Officer Devin Williams, his fingers dancing across his console. 5 vessels on an intercept course. Their power readings are significant. Marcus straightened his uniform. Open all frequencies, Lieutenant Patel. Prepare the first contact protocols. Before Regina could respond, the approaching alien vessels unleashed a barrage of scanning beams that penetrated the Sovereign's outer hull. The ship's quantum core reacted automatically, its defensive fields flaring to life. Sir, Devon called out, his voice tight. Their scans, they're focusing on our quantum fold drive. Their energy signatures just spiked dramatically. The alien vessels suddenly split formation, surrounding the Sovereign in a perfect pentagon pattern. Their hulls shifted like liquid metal, weapon ports emerging from previously smooth surfaces. They're charging weapons, Devon shouted. Marcus's mind raced. They'd practiced first contact scenarios countless times, but nothing like this. Defensive positions, but do not, I repeat, do not return fire without my direct order. The first volley from the alien vessels struck the Sovereign's quantum shields. The advanced barrier technology, derived from the same principles as the fold drive, absorbed the attack with surprising efficiency. Shields holding at 92%, reported Chief Engineer Olivia Blackburn through the comm system. The quantum harmonics are actually adapting to their weapon's frequency. Marcus watched as the alien vessels adjusted their position, clearly surprised by the Sovereign's defensive capabilities. Continue broadcasting first contact protocols on all frequencies. Let them know we mean no harm. Regina worked frantically at her station. Sir, I'm detecting massive communication bursts between these vessels and what appears to be a central command structure. The universal translators are working on it, but, sir, they're terrified. Terrified of us, Marcus frowned. Why would an advanced civilization fear a single human vessel? The answer came in the form of another attack, this time coordinated and significantly more powerful. The quantum shields flared bright blue, struggling against the onslaught. Shields at 67%, Olivia reported. We can't take many more hits like that. Marcus made a decision that would echo through human history. Mr. Williams, target their weapon systems only, minimal power. Show them we can fight back but don't cripple their ships. The Sovereign's response was precise and devastating. Quantum-enhanced targeting systems allowed for pinpoint accuracy, disabling the weapon systems of 2 alien vessels with surgical precision. The remaining 3 ships immediately backed off, maintaining distance while broadcasting what the translators were beginning to decode as warning signals to the surrounding space. Captain Regina's voice was filled with awe as she studied her readings. Those warning signals, they're not about us being hostile. They're warning others about our technology, something about our quantum systems being forbidden knowledge and Class X technology. Marcus watched as more alien vessels began appearing at the edges of their sensor range. Plot an escape course, Lieutenant Tanaka. We need to get this information back to Earth. He touched the shipwide comm. All hands, this is the captain. What we've discovered here today goes beyond first contact. We've stumbled onto something far more complex, a galactic civilization that fears human technological achievement. Remember this moment. Remember how humanity's light first pierced the void, for I fear it marks the beginning of something far greater than we ever imagined. As the Sovereign prepared to make another quantum fold, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that humanity had just been thrust onto a cosmic stage they barely understood. The stars called to them, but that call now carried both promise and peril. The age of human isolation was over, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Grand Assembly Chamber of the Galactic Hegemony erupted in chaos. 12,000 years of established order threatened to unravel, as the holographic display showed the HMS Sovereign effortlessly defeating 5 Sentinel-class warships before vanishing in a burst of quantum energy that defied the laws of controlled space. High Chancellor Voxtrix, their crystalline form refracting light in patterns of distress, raised all 4 appendages for silence. The chamber's acoustic dampeners engaged, forcing the hundreds of assembled representatives to still their protests. The humans, Voxtrix's translated voice resonated through the chamber, have achieved what we have forbidden for millennia. They have independently developed Class X quantum manipulation technology. First speaker Nyrazul of the militant Concordat rose from her hovering platform, her biomechanical augmentations whirring softly. Chancellor, we must act immediately. The last species to achieve quantum manipulation without proper guidance nearly tore a hole in the fabric of reality itself. The void wars that followed claimed billions of lives across 3 spiral arms. The massive screens surrounding the chamber shifted to display detailed scans of the Sovereign. Strategic analyst Kothmar, his insectoid features clicking in agitation, manipulated the display with precise movements of his primary limbs. Their quantum drive is crude by our standards, he reported, but their implementation is innovative. They've integrated it with their defensive systems in ways we never considered. More concerning, their ship's computer core shows signs of primitive quantum processing. Given their rate of technological advancement, they could achieve full quantum consciousness within a decade. The chamber erupted again, this time with sounds of genuine fear. Quantum consciousness, true artificial intelligence operating on quantum principles, had been banned even longer than quantum manipulation technology. The combination of both in the hands of an unguided species was unprecedented. Fleet Commander Zix, a towering figure of living metal and energy, stepped onto the central platform. The human vessel escaped with minimal damage. They will return to their homeworld with knowledge of our existence and our hostility. Based on our analysis of their communication patterns and ship design, they are a warrior species, much like the militant Concordat. They will prepare for war. Then we must strike first, Nyrazul declared. My fleet stands ready. We can reach their star system within 3 standard cycles, one decisive strike to eliminate their quantum technology before it spreads. High Chancellor Voxtrix's crystalline form dimmed slightly. The situation is more complex. Our long-range probes have been monitoring their civilization. They are different. While they possess quantum technology, they lack basic gravitic manipulation. Their space stations still rotate for artificial gravity. Their ships use chemical thrusters alongside their quantum systems. Their development is uneven, unpredictable. Kothmar enlarged a section of the display showing the Sovereign's weapon impacts. Their targeting systems shouldn't be possible with their level of technology. They aimed for precise subsystem disruption when they could have destroyed our ships. Either they are incredibly skilled warriors, or they are more advanced than they appear, Fleet Commander Zix finished. A deception. No, strategic analyst Kothmar clicked. Something far more dangerous. They are innovators. They take disparate technologies and combine them in ways we would never consider. Our civilizations have grown through careful, guided development. The humans, they leap forward in chaos, embracing risk and uncertainty. First speaker Nyrazul's augmentations whirred as she processed this information. All the more reason to strike now. If they are this dangerous with primitive quantum technology, what will they achieve in a year, a decade? High Chancellor Voxtrix raised their appendages again as the chamber threatened to dissolve into argument. We cannot simply destroy them. The ancient protocols are clear. Any species that independently achieves quantum manipulation must either be guided into the hegemony or contained. Contained, Fleet Commander Zix's energy field fluctuated. Chancellor, containment protocols haven't been enacted in over 3,000 years. The resource commitment would be enormous. The alternative is genocide, Voxtrix stated flatly. I will not have this council become what we once fought against. We will implement containment protocols, surround their system, prevent their expansion, and if they resist. They will resist, Nyrazul interrupted. You've seen their ship's capabilities. They will not accept imprisonment in their own system. Then we will have war, Voxtrix's crystalline form pulsed with resigned determination. But it will be a war of containment, not extinction. Deploy the fleet. Establish the quarantine line. Let us hope the humans prove wise enough to accept our guidance rather than challenge the combined might of the galactic hegemony. As the council chamber emptied and the great fleets of the hegemony began to move, none of the assembled representatives noticed the small anomaly in their quantum communication network. In their fear and preparations, they had forgotten one crucial detail about human innovation. The HMS Sovereign had left behind a quantum-entangled surveillance probe, and every word of their counsel had been transmitted back to Earth. Director Jade Chen stood before the United Earth Council, her holographic presentation showing the quantum probe's transmissions from the alien hegemony. The council chamber, buried deep beneath the Himalayas, had never been so full. Representatives from every nation sat in stunned silence as they processed the aliens' plans for humanity's containment. They fear us, Jade stated, her voice echoing through the chamber. Not because of our military might, but because of how we think. Our quantum technology violates their fundamental beliefs about controlled development. Admiral Viktor Petrov, commander of Earth's combined space forces, leaned forward. The HMS Sovereign proved we can match their technology in some areas, but their fleet numbers are overwhelming. The probe data suggests they can deploy over 10,000 capital ships. Numbers don't tell the whole story, interrupted Dr. Rashid Khan, his quantum mechanics lab having pioneered the breakthrough that led to the Sovereign's drive. Their quantum technology is more advanced, yes, but it's restricted, regulated. They've placed artificial limits on their own development. Technical displays materialized around the chamber, showing comparative analyses between human and hegemony technology. Dr. Khan highlighted specific sections with quick hand gestures. Look here, their quantum shields operate on purely defensive algorithms. But ours, we've integrated offensive and defensive quantum fields. They would never consider this because it violates their development protocols. Their technology is more refined, but ours is more creative. General Maria Torres, head of the Global Defense Initiative, stood up. Are you suggesting we can win a war against an entire galactic civilization because we're more innovative? No, Jade cut in, he's suggesting we can survive long enough to make them reconsider their options. The probe transmitted their entire council session. They don't want to destroy us, they want to contain us. That gives us room to maneuver. The chamber's main display shifted to show Earth's industrial capacity. Over 10,000 factories worldwide were already being converted to produce quantum-enhanced systems. Civilian research labs had been integrated into military complexes. The world's greatest minds were working together with a single purpose. We've achieved in months what took them centuries, Jade continued. The quantum fold drive we created, they developed it through careful, controlled steps. We did it by accident while trying to improve coffee makers. A ripple of nervous laughter went through the chamber. It was true. The quantum breakthrough had come from a civilian company attempting to create the perfect coffee brewing process through quantum manipulation of water molecules. Admiral Petrov activated his tactical display. We have 6 months before their containment fleet arrives. The Sovereign's success wasn't just about technology, it was about tactics they'd never seen before. We need to expand on that advantage. Dr. Khan's eyes lit up. What if we integrated quantum fields with conventional technology? They wouldn't expect that. Their sensors are designed to detect quantum energy signatures, but what about a railgun enhanced by quantum acceleration? Or quantum-enhanced nuclear weapons, General Torres added grimly. They've forgotten conventional warfare in their pursuit of pure quantum technology. We can combine both. Jade nodded, bringing up new simulations. We've already begun. The Quantum Integration Initiative is retrofitting everything from fighter jets to infantry weapons with quantum enhancement modules. We're not trying to match their level of quantum technology, we're creating hybrid systems they've never encountered. The chamber's displays showed new ship designs. Unlike the sleek, quantum-pure vessels of the hegemony, these were aggressive combinations of conventional and quantum technology. Massive railguns wrapped in quantum acceleration fields, nuclear missiles sheathed in quantum tunneling barriers, point defense systems that combine traditional targeting computers with quantum prediction algorithms. The HMS Sovereign was just the beginning, Admiral Petrov declared. We're launching the Quantum Fleet Initiative, 20 new ships, each one incorporating lessons learned from the Sovereign's encounter, but more importantly, each one different, unpredictable. General Torres pulled up ground defense plans. We're also preparing for the worst. Every major city is being equipped with quantum shields, underground bunkers with quantum camouflage. If they break through our space defenses, they'll find that taking Earth is very different from containing it. But our greatest weapon, Jade said softly, is what scared them in the first place. Our quantum AI research continues. We've integrated quantum processing into every new system we're building. Each ship, each weapon, each defense grid will have its own quantum-enhanced artificial intelligence. Innovative, adaptive, and completely unrestricted by their ancient protocols. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. They were about to face an enemy with vastly superior numbers and more advanced quantum technology. But humanity had something the hegemony had sacrificed in its pursuit of controlled development, the ability to think outside established boundaries. They expect us to either submit to containment or fight a conventional war, Jade concluded. Instead, we're going to show them why innovation terrifies them so much. Humanity isn't going to just resist, we're going to change the rules of warfare itself. As the Council began voting on the final approval for Earth's defense plans, quantum sensors detected the first long-range scouts of the hegemony fleet entering the solar system. The race to prepare Earth's defenses had begun, and with it, the greatest technological revolution in human history. The hegemony thought they were coming to contain a primitive species dabbling in dangerous technology. They were about to discover why unrestricted human innovation was truly something to fear. The battle for Jupiter's orbit marked humanity's first major engagement with the hegemony fleet. Commander Rohan Patel watched from the bridge of the HMS Defiant as 300 human vessels faced off against 2,000 hegemony warships. Traditional military doctrine would have called this a suicide mission. But humanity had stopped thinking traditionally the moment they learned about the quantum containment fleet. All ships execute Operation Chaos Protocol, Rohan ordered, his voice carrying across the quantum-encrypted command network. The response was immediate and looked nothing like any space battle in science fiction. The human fleet split into seemingly random patterns, each ship activating its unique hybrid weapon systems. The HMS Defiant led the charge, its conventional engines propelling it straight toward the enemy while its quantum systems did something the hegemony had never conceived possible. Quantum shell inversion successful, reported Lieutenant Jin Wang, her hands dancing across the hybrid control interface. We're temporarily out of quantum phase with normal space. The hegemony fleet's first volley of quantum weapons passed harmlessly through the human ships, their energy dissipating into empty space. The alien vessel's quantum sensors couldn't lock onto targets that were partially phased out of normal spacetime. Return fire, Rohan commanded. Show them why we kept our primitive weapons. Railguns wrapped in quantum acceleration fields opened up, launching projectiles at speeds that violated several laws of physics. The hegemony's quantum shields, designed to stop energy weapons, had no protocols for dealing with solid projectiles moving at near-light speeds. Across the battlefield, human ships demonstrated why unrestricted innovation was so dangerous. The HMS Warrior unleashed swarms of microdrones, each carrying a tiny quantum core that confused enemy targeting systems. The HMS Thunder's primitive, nuclear missiles carried quantum-tunneling warheads that detonated inside enemy shields. The HMS Phoenix deliberately overloaded its quantum core, using the controlled explosion as both weapon and propulsion. They're adapting, Jin reported, as the hegemony fleet began to modify their tactics. Their quantum shields are reconfiguring to stop our physical projectiles. Rohan smiled, just as planned, execute phase 2. The human fleet suddenly switched tactics. Ships that had been firing physical weapons switched to pure quantum attacks. Vessels using quantum weapons shifted to conventional arms. Every ship in the fleet had different capabilities, different combinations of hybrid technology. There was no pattern to learn, no standard doctrine to counter. On the hegemony command ship, Fleet Commander Zix watched in horror as the supposedly primitive humans systematically dismantled his carefully coordinated fleet formations. Impossible, they transmitted across the command network. Their tactics violate all established combat protocols. First Speaker Nirazul's voice cut across the command channel. They're not just fighting us, they're innovating during the battle itself. Each ship is acting independently, learning, adapting. These aren't coordinated military units there. They're humans, High Chancellor Voxtrix interrupted, their crystalline form pulsing with agitation as they watched from the distant hegemony capital. This is why we feared their unrestricted development. They don't see quantum technology as something to be carefully controlled. To them, it's just another tool to be combined, modified, and reimagined. The battle reached its crescendo as the human fleet executed its final surprise. Every ship's quantum core pulsed in a precisely calculated pattern, creating a cascading wave of quantum interference. The fabric of spacetime rippled around the hegemony fleet. By the Ancient Ones, Zix transmitted, they've weaponized the quantum fold drive itself. The massive quantum wave didn't destroy the hegemony ships. Instead, it forced their quantum drives to temporarily synchronize with human frequencies. For just a few moments, the entire alien fleet was operating on human quantum protocols, unrestricted, uncontrolled, and completely outside their experience. Chaos ensued as alien systems crashed, shields failed, and carefully regulated quantum cores began operating in ways their users had never imagined possible. The mighty hegemony fleet, with all its advanced technology and carefully controlled development, found itself crippled by the very innovation they had feared. All ships execute final attack pattern, Rohan commanded. The human fleet moved in perfect coordination, their hybrid weapons targeting specific systems on the disabled hegemony vessels. They weren't trying to destroy the alien fleet, they were demonstrating that they could. When the quantum interference wave dissipated, nearly half the hegemony fleet had been disabled without a single ship being destroyed. The remaining vessels, their systems restored but their crews shaken, faced a choice. Continue the battle against an enemy that fought unlike anything in their extensive history, or retreat and reconsider their approach to this unexpectedly dangerous species. Fleet Commander Zix made the only logical decision. All vessels execute emergency quantum fold, return to fallback positions. As the hegemony fleet retreated, Rohan received a priority transmission from Earth. Director Jade Chen's hologram appeared on the bridge, her expression both pleased and concerned. Congratulations, Commander. The Battle of Jupiter will be remembered as the day humanity proved itself to the galaxy. But our quantum probe network is detecting massive fleet movements throughout hegemony space. They're mobilizing everything they have. Rohan nodded grimly. Of course they are. We just proved their worst fears correct. Humanity doesn't just possess quantum technology, we've completely reimagined how to use it. They can't allow that to continue. No, Jade agreed, but they also can't ignore what this battle proved. We're not just fighting to survive anymore. We're showing them a completely new way of thinking about technology, about warfare, about progress itself. The bridge crew of the Defiant watched as the last hegemony ships vanished into quantum space. They had won their first major battle, but the war was far from over. Humanity had demonstrated its potential, its creativity, its willingness to ignore established limits. Now they had to prove they could be trusted with that power or prepare for a conflict that would reshape the galaxy itself. The Great Hall of the Hegemony's central nexus had never hosted a human before. Now, 6 months after the Battle of Jupiter, Director Jade Chen stood before the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds. Behind her, Commander Rohan Patel and Dr. Rashid Khan represented Earth's military and scientific achievements. Above them, the quantum space display showed the ongoing revolution spreading through hegemony space. High Chancellor Voxtrix's crystalline form pulsed with multiple colors as they addressed the assembly. The containment of humanity has failed, not through force of arms alone, but through something far more powerful, the spread of ideas. The display shifted to show hegemony worlds where younger species had begun experimenting with hybrid quantum technology, inspired by humanity's example. Traditional quantum boundaries were being questioned. Innovation, long suppressed in the name of safety, was awakening. Professor Indira Verma, Earth's chief xenodiplomat, stepped forward. Her quantum translator, a device that shouldn't have been possible according to hegemony protocols, allowed her to communicate in all alien languages simultaneously. "We understand your fear," she said, her words resonating in 1,000 different tongues. 12,000 years ago, unrestricted quantum development nearly destroyed your civilization. The Void Wars taught you the danger of uncontrolled progress, but in containing that danger, you also contained your potential. First speaker Nirazul, her biomechanical systems now incorporating several human innovations, raised her platform. The humans speak truth. In just 1 year, their hybrid technology has advanced quantum science more than we have in a century of controlled development. The display showed the aftermath of the final battle, where a mere 50 human ships had faced the combined might of the hegemony's central fleet, not through quantum trickery or hybrid weapons, but by demonstrating something the hegemony had forgotten: mercy. "We could have destroyed your fleet," Commander Patel stated simply. "Our quantum-enhanced AIs had predicted every possible strategy you might employ. Our hybrid weapons could have torn through your defenses. Instead, we showed restraint." Dr. Khan activated a holographic model of human quantum development. "We've discovered something remarkable. The quantum field responds to creativity, to imagination. By combining it with conventional technology, by allowing AI to explore unrestricted possibilities, we've found that quantum mechanics itself seems to reward innovation." Murmurs spread through the assembly as centuries of doctrine were challenged. Strategic analyst Kothmar, his insectoid features now augmented with human-inspired quantum sensors, displayed the data that had shocked the hegemony's scientific community. "Their quantum efficiency ratings exceed our theoretical maximums," he clicked excitedly. "Not because their technology is more advanced, but because they approach problems without preconceptions. They achieve the impossible because no one told them it was impossible." Fleet Commander Zix, who had faced humanity in battle multiple times, moved their energy form forward. "I opposed this meeting. I believed humans were too dangerous to be allowed free development. I was wrong. Their greatest weapon was never their technology, it was their ability to imagine new possibilities." Director Chen removed a small quantum core from her pocket, placing it in the center of the chamber. It pulsed with a perfect harmony of controlled and chaotic quantum frequencies that should have been mutually exclusive. "This is our gift to the hegemony," she said. "The first quantum core built through true collaboration between human innovation and your 12,000 years of experience. It represents a new path forward, not unrestricted development, but also not rigid control. A balance." High Chancellor Voxtrix descended from their platform, their crystalline form shifting to match the core's frequency. "The ancient protocols were written to protect us from our own potential for destruction. But perhaps, in our fear of the past, we forgot to look toward the future." Professor Verma smiled. "Earth formally requests membership in the Galactic hegemony, not as a contained species but as partners in a new era of quantum development. We offer our innovation, our creativity, our unique perspective. In return, we ask for your guidance, your experience, and your trust." The chamber fell silent as the High Chancellor approached the quantum core. Its light pulsed in perfect synchronization with their crystalline form. "The humans have shown us that there is a middle path between chaos and control. They have proved themselves not through dominance but through wisdom, not through destruction but through creation." One by one, the representatives of the hegemony stood. The ancient quantum voting systems activated, reading the intent of each species. The results appeared in the space above the chamber, unanimous approval for the first time in over 10,000 years. "Welcome, humanity," High Chancellor Voxtrix announced, their form blazing with new purpose, "not to an age of containment but to an age of collaboration. Together we will explore the true potential of quantum science. Together we will forge a future that balances safety with innovation, wisdom with creativity."